Welcome to Loadspace. In this tutorial, I will show you how to sign up for Loadspace and to add a vehicle and to create a route for that vehicle. We'll start with the sign up. In the top right, click Sign Up. We add our name here. We add the name of our company. We will, for the purposes of this video, call it Jackie's Vans. Add a contact number. In this case, a placeholder. As you can see, we're going to use an email address and a password. Now click Sign Up. Welcome to Loadspace. Please check your email to confirm. So off screen, I'm going to my email to confirm that I have received a confirmation of my email address, which I'm going to verify off screen, very simply, and I've done so. And I will log in using the details with which I signed up. Click Remember Me and then click Log In. Welcome back. So hello Jackie of Jackie's Vans. Initially, the user is prompted to create a vehicle. It is possible to access your account information from here. To check your fleet, to check your route. Find some information about how it works. We can find out more information here. But we're going to start with our account, which is the settings and the profile and to invite a member. We're going to have a look at the settings and profile and we go into the section. It's possible to change the details or change the sign-up information. What we are going to do is we're going to add a description of our company. I'm going to say that Jackie's Vans is the best transport company around. This description is displayed when the end user searches for a route. And if your routes are displayed in that search result, it is possible for the end user to see a description of your company over here. It's possible to change the company's contact number. It's possible to change email address and to change the password. It's also possible to pick a color scheme. We can go with purple. It's also possible to upload a logo over here. So I'm going to save my changes and I'm going to return to my dashboard over here and see my color scheme has changed. So it is important to create a vehicle or your fleet first, because once you've created a vehicle, you can then go and create routes and assign vehicles to those routes. Let's create a vehicle over here. It is going to ask for the first vehicle's reference. I encourage all users to use the number plate of the vehicle, so we will put the license plate in there. It is possible to use spaces or not, entirely up to you. And now I'm asked what type of items my vehicle can transport. It's very important to be accurate here in order to provide the end user with accurate information. So I'm going to put industrial machinery and other equipment because that is what my vehicle can transport. However, it is possible to choose multiple items to be loaded. You don't have to choose only one item from the list. In fact, the more you select, the better the chance will be for getting a call from a customer. So I'm going to save that, and presto. Here is my vehicle and the type of machinery it can transport, and for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to create another vehicle. So, let's create another vehicle. And this vehicle can transport abnormal loads. So you can see both vehicles listed with the type of material it can transport. There's a search function when the list grows. It's possible to edit the vehicle, to change the vehicle reference and certain information about the items that the vehicle can transport. So very simply, that is how we create vehicles. The next step is to create routes. So you can see here in my dashboard, I've created 2 vehicles, and it's possible to access the vehicles via this link going forward. So I have 0 future routes. So I'm going to click on that, and it says you haven't got any routes. Easily create a route. It gives you information about how that works, and we'll show you how to do that now. Right, let's create a route. I have to select a vehicle. So I'm going to select vehicle 709654 and I proceed to the next step. we can see step 2 in the route creation process. 7 steps are here. So it asks me to put in a reference. So we're going to create a route from Cape Town to PE to Durban and then on to Johannesburg and back to Cape Town. So I'm going to name the route in a very descriptive way. We'll start with Cape Town, PE, Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town. So that will be my reference. It's important to be as descriptive as possible while keeping brief so that for users who have many routes at the same time, that one is able to distinguish one route from the other. So I'm going to the next step, step 3. And now is a key component of creating routes, which is to choose the locations of your journey. A route needs to have at least one leg in order to be a route, but a route can have multiple legs. So we are as descriptive here as possible. We are going to create these links for this route. So we're going to start with Cape Town. One can be more specific about specific addresses, but in this case, we're going to say Cape Town. We can't go next yet. We need to add that to ensure that my route is my starting point as is displayed. As I mentioned, a route needs to have a minimum of one leg and needs a starting point and an end point. That's why I can't click the next button. So we're going to highlight and add Port Elizabeth here. Port Elizabeth, there we go. I can be more specific about the address in Port Elizabeth. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to say Port Elizabeth. I still can't go to the next step without confirming that Port Elizabeth is my next step. If this was the only leg in the route, I would then click to the next step. But as I've described here, as my intention is to do a multi-leg, we add Durban, we add Johannesburg, and we then returned to Cape Town. And add that. We then have all our routes here: Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town. If one's made an error here, it's very easy to either delete the leg and re-add it using the method I've shown, or it's possible to drag and move things as I've described here, as you can see on the screen. So this is the route. I'm very happy with that. And I need to go to the next step, which is to plan out the schedule for this route and each specific leg. So I'm going to start on 1st October and leave on 1st October. Let's say we're driving overnight and we get to Port Elizabeth on the 2nd of October. Then from Port Elizabeth to Durban. We will leave on the 2nd and we will get there on the 3rd to Durban. Then from Durban we go from the 3rd, also driving overnight. Whatever the case is, we get to Johannesburg on the 4th and then to Johannesburg to Cape Town. And say we leave on the 5th and we get there on the 6th of October. It's possible to edit these once complete, once you've added all of these. But as you can see here, we have added our legs, we've added our schedule, and now it's time to move on to the next step. For each leg, it is possible to specify how much space is in your vehicle. Whether you charge per in terms of dimensions width, height and length, whether your vehicle carries pallets or motor vehicles, you can add the number of units that you have available on that vehicle. If the vehicle capacity is measured by displacement, you can add that here, or add by weight. You can add that per leg. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the units here. 5, 6, 7, 20 units. As you can see, for each leg, I've noted that I'm delivering certain items at each stop-off and therefore have additional space. Some businesses will pick up and drop off items at each route. That is entirely up to the end user or the business owner to put the correct information in there. The next step is to determine how long or how often the route occurs. However, in the first release of this product of Loadspace, we are limiting the ability for the users to publish one route at a time, but in a later release, we will have recurring routes. But at this stage, it is a single route. It is for one trip. So I'm going to pick the only option here, which is once, and click Next. It is possible to step back and edit the route or to publish the route. So if I go to my dashboard, As you can see, here is a future route, which I haven't published yet. But I can see over here, upcoming routes. That's the route. That is the name of the route. I can click for more details about a route that I've set up, and it's possible for me to click here and edit that route or to delete it. So for now, I'm going to publish the route. You cannot unpublish a route. It is now available for public view. I have now successfully created 2 vehicles, and I have created a route. So if I log out here, keeping mindful of the dates of this route. So I am no longer logged in as Jackie's Vans, and I'm using the website as an end user. End users or customers will choose a departure location. And for this example, I will search for a starting point and an end point within the route that I created. So I will search for Port Elizabeth to reach Johannesburg, even though the route that I created before doesn't go directly from Port Elizabeth to Johannesburg, because Johannesburg and Port Elizabeth are in that specific route in the correct order. If I search for that as an end user, you can see here that Jackie's Vans appear here. I've not uploaded a logo yet, but had I done so, it would appear here. See, here's another company which I've added, which is for display purposes only. All the listings will appear for the end user. That can be hundreds of listings if the user specifies the departure date and arrival date. That is very specific to their needs. It's possible to refine the search for very specific types of vehicles, because in some cases the end user will have very specific requirements. For now, we'll keep that closed, and the end user then is presented with their options. So let's have a look at the vehicle. You can see here items that can be transported, industrial, heavy machinery, etc. We have another option here, which is Yun's Vans. So Yun can transport grain products, and over here, this is how much space is available. Yun has not identified how much space the vehicle has on that route. So the end user is more likely to be drawn to Jackie's Vans because Jackie has shown how much space is available, and also depending on the end user's requirements in terms of the load type of items that need to be transported. They will make the choice accordingly. It's possible for them to view the contact information and to have a look at the company profile where it says, Jackie's Vans is the best transport company around. And as a business owner, your information will appear here. If there's a logo, it'll appear above, as it does for Yun's Vans. There are a whole bunch of contact numbers that this person has added. And it's possible for them to use the contact form or use the company's profile as is. And that is a very simple explanation of how Loadspace works, how to sign up, how to create a vehicle, how to create routes, and how it will appear to the end user.